Winter camping in the Pacific Northwest is not something that I would recommend to just anybody. Without the proper gear or the right mindset, this is absolute misery. But if you're strong-willed and you're prepared, this could be the best trip you have all year. Good morning. I am in the tent with my friend Chris here, who's hiding under the covers. And today we are going to go find some snow. What? You're just about ready. Bringing a 4-year-old on a trip like this is inherently a ton of extra work. And on a winter camping trip, you're already going to be doing a lot of extra work anyway. But for me, it's very important to expose my son to what it's like to have to earn your fun. When we go camping in the summer, the elements are wonderful. It's easy to start a fire. It's easy to cook your food. But in the winter, all these things are much more difficult. And I want to teach him that you can still have fun in this environment, but you really need to work for it, and you're going to be a little bit uncomfortable. Those were some big ol' elk right there. Glad you saw him, buddy. Our first night of camping was picked based on convenience. It's a place that I'm really familiar with. But our second night is in a place that I've never been, and I chose a couple different spots, all based on elevation. Because like I said, our goal today is to get in some really deep snow and really push ourselves as well as our rigs. It is wet and soggy outside. It's about 37 degrees, and right now we are at 2,100 feet. So where I'm trying to get us to camp tonight is about 4,800 feet. I hope in the next 2,000 feet we see some snow. This will be the third weekend in a row I've got skunked if we don't find any snow. But we'll see. Me and Chris are pretty optimistic. Isn't that right, buddy? Uh-huh, yeah? He gave me one of these, the up and down nod.
There's the snow.
You could call it that. It's a very thin veneer of white, snowy goodness.
You're such a complex person, Nate.
Am I? I feel like I'm a simple man. Well, according to my map, we are officially at the top. Let's see if... I remember when I was Google Earthing this, it looked like there was like a big turnaround area that you could camp at. We'll see. We're like right there. Oh, there's people up here. Luckily, the folks up here were really cool. They pulled forward a little bit to give us some room to turn around so we could figure out exactly how to route to the second spot on our list. We didn't know it yet, but this was going to be quite the adventure to get down to our next camp spot.
Mr. Ed, spot 1 is a bust. Other people, oh no, I'm crooked. Okay. Other people have heard of this spot apparently.
Yeah, I mean, good for them, man.
Good for them,
a lot
right?
more people get to enjoy it.
Oh, dude, totally. Yeah. So, what do you think? Optimistic on spot 2?
I think so.
I think so too. It's a little bit deeper, so it's farther that way.
It's part of the fun and the adventure, right?
If it keeps snowing like this, we might actually have some decent snow by the time we get to the next one.
I mean, if worst comes to worst, we can just like find a pull off and camp on the side of the road, you know.
Oh, that's the beauty of having it set up the way we are.
Yeah.
Wherever you stop is where you stay.
I agree.
The distance between my first choice and second choice is actually pretty far, and the road snakes all around a whole bunch of different trails that some are closed, some are open, and we only have so many daylight hours. So we're going to drive back down to the main Forest Service road, and we're going to start hauling along this route, hoping we can get to camp before dark. Because if we have to come up with a plan C, it's going to cost us a lot of extra time.
Yeah, this is steep for sure. This is what we're looking for. We want to go up.
We were gaining our elevation back really quick, and from what I can tell on the map, we don't have very far to go, and where we're headed, there's only one way in, one way out, and it's a pretty remote valley. So I don't know exactly what's ahead, but I do know that we need to keep up a pretty good pace because we don't want to set up in the dark.
Oh, you're stuck on the rock.
Yeah, I didn't turn side.
And so you can't back up?
I might be hung up on it.
Two of the folks on this trip are supporters on Patreon, and Dave, who is one of those supporters, got a little bit stuck because he was trying to dodge one big boulder with the bed, and then he slid into another big boulder and his bumper went up and over, making it to where he's wedged. He can't even back up. And because this snow is so slushy, it's getting pretty dangerous to use your brakes. So our plan is to jack up the bumper with a high lift, get him backed up, and then slowly continue to work our way down this valley, hopefully not having to use the brakes too much.
So this isn't tricky as long as we don't hit our brakes.
Everybody else.
Keep turning, keep turning. No break! Hard. Don't back up. You're okay. Yeah. No break.
Whoa, stop. Do not go forward anymore.
Damn brakes.
Dude, those brakes.
Brakes are killing me.
What do you air down to?
I gotta be honest, when Edward hit those brakes the second time and he slid next to that cliff edge, my heart absolutely skipped a beat because I have rolled off the side of a cliff edge like this, and luckily my wife and I only rolled down 3.5 times and hit a tree to stop us from continuing. But this hill is different. The consequences are way bigger than what my wife and I faced. And when you combine that with how slippery these conditions are and how slushy this snow is, we are not talking about a very fun scenario. But in Edward's case, we aired him down a little bit more. We pushed him a little bit higher up on the obstacle to keep him out of the snow and a little bit more into the gravel, and Dave was able to navigate him exactly where he needed to be, which is good because we need to find camp, we need to get off these trails, and hopefully things will freeze a little bit harder tonight, making it to where we can drive a little bit better tomorrow.
This is what real Pacific Northwest wheeling looks like.
Oh yeah. Getting wet in the rain.
Trying to dry off your wet wood with the slightly less wet wood. And
wet wood.
yeah, There's no romanticizing this. I mean, all these California YouTuber dudes got all this dry weather. They can paint a really nice magical picture. This is exactly what it looks like and sounds like. Rainy nonsense with your friends.
I'm a rolling stone, bound to roam. Come the morning, or I'll be gone. Pouring rain, wanna hear that train. There she comes, won't you get on? Won't you get on board?
We could not believe the weather that we woke up to. It had froze overnight, which made the snow crunchy, which is much better for traction, trust me. And even though we had a literal uphill battle to get out of here, there was a lot of optimism around the campfire.
Ed,
What's up?
good morning. How'd you sleep last night?
Slept pretty good. There were a couple of times I woke up just because, you know, it got a little too cold.
Yeah.
I think I just cut the, you know, the sleeping bag. Sometimes I like to sleep kind of colder. Put it off and then
A little too cold.
a little too cold. Yeah, I turn on the light inside the tent and I see, you know, some of the ice condensation just kind of froze up. So,
What do you think about our extraction up the hill?
dude, I have my reservations, but I think we'll do it. I mean, we've got plenty of capable rigs here, you know,
Yeah.
and you're out here, and I know you got taken care of, and Dave with that crazy Toyota. So
I think we got this. I think it's gonna be a little slippery though.
it is going to be a little slippery.
But this is actually frozen now instead of yesterday where it was all slush, which
Yeah.
was a nightmare.
Slush is like the worst kind, man.
Well, I'm optimistic. Seems like you're optimistic.
I am. I'm sure we'll get home, you know.
Yeah.
It'll be an adventure regardless.
Yep. Well, let's
So,
do it.
Let's do it, buddy.
Spirits were high with all of us grown-ups, but what about the kiddo? What's he up to? Well, Chris had a great time just running around and getting into stuff and being outside when it's not completely dumping down rain.
Light as a feather, stiff as a board.
My hand.
That's what I did with the front row. And then when I got the decks and stuff, it just...
Always put this up in the shop. Yep. Get it drying out.
What a tremendous difference between yesterday and today. Now we have all this extra traction. If you need to get out of the vehicle for a second, you don't get soaked to the bone, and man, it just feels so good to have the weather cooperate. We are definitely not in any hurry to get home. We're gonna slowly work our way out of this valley, get back on the main dirt road, and try to punch all the way through this forest to a completely different highway from where we started.
All right, gentlemen. Nice and slow.
out, I decided to open up the trail just a little bit to make it easier for Edward and David to squeeze through the spot where David got stuck yesterday. I'm sure if any other full-size rig come down this trail in the future, they'd be very happy to not mess up their front bumper or rear quarter panel trying to slip through these two rocks. Once again, this is a stretch of forest that I've never been to, but according to Onyx, we can weasel our way out of here and drop into the city of Packwood, which is crazy because where we started and where we might be able to finish are in two completely different locations in my head. So I'm excited to be able to punch through all off-road, further solidifying this as a place that I'm going to come back and explore next year.
Well, my friend Chris, my friend Ed, my friend David, and my friend Dave, did we have fun?
Oh yeah.
I had fun too. This was great. It was not as deep as I was hoping, but man, was it an adventure. I think that we got way up there. We got to see a bunch of stuff we didn't see before. What do you think? Do you want to go snowing with Dad again? Yeah. I think he's saying he wants to catch snow with his tongue, maybe? I don't know. All right, well, thank you so much for watching, and please check out Edward Shin's YouTube channel. It's one of the most underrated channels on YouTube. What do you think? Are those big elk?
Yeah, I'm gonna go colder and colder.
Well, we don't want to get near them.
Right.
It's very important because those are wild animals. And wild animals can get aggressive if they think that you're a threat. Even though we know you're not a threat, they might.